Hey everyone, this is Miss Susan from the Free Library of Northampton Township. I'm here today for a coding class, and today we're going to talk more about Scratch. This is a great class for anybody who is new to Scratch or anybody who has been using Scratch already. Could be a good refresher, or maybe highlight some of the features that you're not familiar with. So to start Scratch, we go to the website, and it is scratch.mit.edu. It's a free program. I also would recommend anybody to start a Scratch account. It's also absolutely free, and you can save your work and work off of older programs. All you need is an email address, and you would sign into your account over here. But today I'm just going to create a program, and at the end of the program it won't be able to save, so you can also just do that. So you're going to select create up here, and then you're going to have this screen come up. These are some tutorials if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Scratch, but today we're going to do a program together, and I'll walk you through a program that we're going to do about space. So because it's space, we don't need our Scratch cat, so I'm going to hit this little trash can over here, and we no longer need that sprite, but I'm going to add a backdrop that looks more like space. So over here under stage, you're going to choose a backdrop, and then you can just go ahead and browse. I'm going to pick stars, and now you have a nice backdrop. I'm going to add a sprite, which is another word for a character that you're going to give some coding to. In space, I want to have a rocket ship, so you can browse, or you can also use this search box here. If I type in rocket ship, and then it'll give me this rocket ship here. A lot of sprites have more than one costume, so when you can highlight that sprite and go over to costumes, you can see that there are more than one costumes for that particular sprite. I like this one, so I'm going to choose this one here. I also want to rotate it, so this would be a place where I could do that. I have selected this arrow here. I'm going to select all parts of that rocket ship and hover over the rotating right here, and then I'm just going to rotate it on its side, and you can see that happening on our screen to the side. Go back to code because I want to give my rocket ship some code, but first I want to add one more sprite, and I'm looking for a planet Earth. The Earth I'm going to move up to the top right corner. What I want to do is give my rocket ship some coding now because I want it to move towards Earth. So I highlight the rocket ship, and over here I'm going to add some code. Usually the first bit of code is how to start. I'm going to start by, as soon as I click this green go flag, then my program will start. So when go is clicked, I want to move my rocket ship to the bottom corner, the bottom left corner. In Scratch, the center of the screen is 0, 0 coordinate, X being horizontally and Y being vertical. So to start in the bottom left corner, you're going to pick minus 150X and minus 150Y, and you can play around with that. If I click on my go, it's pretty close. You can play around with that if you want it exactly in that corner. When then I want it to start my program with a, I always say let's go for 2 seconds. Again, I'll click go. It's going to say let's go. What I want to do is for this rocket ship to move across space, and maybe I'll have it move right to the middle of the screen. So I'm going to, my motion, I'm moving or going to, well, first let's point. Instead of a direction, let's point towards Earth. So it's going to rotate, so it's pointing towards Earth, and then I'll move it to the middle of the screen. Let's go, point, and move it to the middle of the screen. Now instead of going to, what I can also do is glide. So I'll take 1 second to start here and glide to the middle of the screen. That looks pretty nice. So gliding looks better. Just moving would be jumpy. Now it took 1 second. If I made this longer, like 3 seconds, that'll change the speed and it'll be a slower glide. See that? So you can play around with that. Instead of gliding them, one other thing you could do, and if you want to get rid of something, you just have to bring it over to the left side and it goes away. I can do a repeat loop. And since it's pointing towards the earth, all you need to do is move steps in that direction. So you have to play around with this number as well. What is 4 steps? Will that make it to earth? And it does. Something else you can do using this repeat loop was maybe change the color. And it will change the color 100 times. Looks like a pretty cool rocket ship now. Another thing you could do is change the size. So let's just change it smaller just by 1, or -1 will be smaller. And that will get smaller as you get to Earth. Now if I hit go again, it's going to start off at that tiny size. So one bit of code I should add would be to set size to 100% at the very beginning, so that when I hit go, it'll start off at its regular size. All right. I'm going to add another sprite. I have a little more time. I want to add an animal in space, so if I want to browse the animals, let's start with a monkey. I'll do a monkey. And another way to change the size of your sprite is right here on the screen. I don't want it to be so big, maybe just a little bit smaller. And maybe I want to move them over here. I can do that right here on the screen. I also want to add the costume a little, change rather the costume a little bit. There's not much that the program is offering to me, but since this monkey's in space, I thought maybe I could add a little helmet. So you can go be as creative as you like and add features to your sprites. So in this case, I'm just going to add a helmet. Maybe like an oval like this. All right, it's not supposed to be purple. It's not supposed to be filled in. Maybe a nice white color. So looking over here, you can see that now my monkey has a helmet. Going back to the coding, now I want my monkey to have some coding. So all I want him to do is maybe rotate around. So we're going to start again with when I start the program, when I hit the go. I am going to have another loop. And this time it's going to be, I just want it to keep going forever. And I want it to rotate. And I wanted to do it pretty slow. And you can play around with this as well. So this guy is just rotating around. Now, if you want to go faster, you would make this a larger number. Or you can make him go nice and slow like he's in space. All right, I'm going to add one more sprite. My last sprite is going to be an asteroid, so I want a rock. There we go. This is a really big rock, so I'm going to make him a little smaller. Okay, so here's my asteroid. So I want my asteroid just to move along and bump off the sides. All right, so he's just going to go in random directions and bump off the sides. So first of all, how do I start my asteroid moving? It's when I click my go, right? We're going to have to point somewhere. So let's point towards the Earth. And then I want this to go on forever until I hit stop, of course. And I want to move. I want it to go pretty slow, so this number is going to be a small number. And then when it hits the side, I want him to bounce. So how do I do that? Under the sensing, I believe. oh, here it is. If on edge, bounce. Is under the motion. So let's see how that looks. So that asteroid is just going to keep going. If you want him to go a little faster, make the steps larger. But because he's in space, it's probably not going too fast. All right, and that's the end of our class, but you can go ahead and add more sprites, try to get them to do some more motions. Maybe we want to add more movement, or you can have them say something or change color. So I hope you had fun with today's Scratch class. Next week we're going to do a little more with the Scratch, and so we can learn a little bit more with how to add to our coding. Let me know how you like it, and I will see you next week. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.